him now? Is that something you bond with?
When he worked there, it was mostly zeros and ones. So he likes to brag that he's the best programmer out there, but I don't think he's done any of it in many, many years.
Yeah, punch card days.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's scary though. As soon as you said NSA, I mean, I don't know if you watched Scandal or not, but I was just like,
yeah.
Wow, that's your dad? Hopefully he didn't kill anyone during his time at the NSA, just programming.
I'm sure he didn't.
Now, I noticed that you have a burgeoning career on Stack Overflow as well.
Yeah, over the past couple of weeks, I've gotten really involved with it. I've been building up my reputation.
Is that related to the Quora post? Like, did the Quora post mark a point where you decided it's time for you to become a social programmer, or is this a coincidence?
No, it's a coincidence completely. Maybe the fact that I started becoming more social online, having a new Twitter page, a new Instagram, adding my answers to Stack Overflow, maybe that made posting my answer on Quora a little easier. Mm-hmm. Maybe that was a more natural progression because of that. Mm-hmm. But no, I started answering the questions on Stack Overflow a few weeks before my Quora post.
Do you think this is the beginning of a new era that involves social programming? And you know what I mean by that? Like, you've been a solitary developer, seems like, for a number of years, haven't you?
Yes. In college, I did programming. For example, we had one class with just 3 students in it, where we just spent the entire semester building a compiler. And so I've had those experiences programming in groups. But yeah, over the past few years, I've definitely been very much a solitary programmer.
Mm-hmm. And you went to Amherst in Massachusetts?
Yes.
And you did graduate with an undergrad in computer science?
Yes, computer science and theater.
That is actually deeply awesome. Is that a double major, or was one of the?
I majored, separately.
Separately. Wow. Yeah, double major. That's awesome. That's funny. My background is in theater as well. I did theater and I did musical theater. So, you know, what's funny is that set me up for a career kind of as a programmer / presenter and teacher.
Yes.
So that's interesting. Have you thought about user groups and presenting? So like,
definitely.
You should do that. I mean, that's the closest thing programmers have to theater.
Yeah, I spoke to Hadi, the head of Code.org yesterday, and I would definitely love to get involved with an organization like that and give lectures and speeches and try to encourage young kids, especially women and minorities, to program, to learn more about technology. Mm-hmm.
Now, Code.org, for people who may not be familiar, is a nonprofit, and they have a sister organization called Computing in the Core, and it's a public nonprofit. It's a 501c3, and they're focused on STEM with a focus on code. You may have heard this idea of teach an hour of code that anyone can learn.
Yes, they also have Hour of Code. They just released 2 weeks ago, and I was astonished. 15 million students, I think within the first week, were on the website creating their own code, creating their own programs.
Yeah, 170 countries, everyone is starting to learn to code. Yeah.
And he told me that's more than signed up to Instagram, for example, and Facebook and all of this within several years. So in 1 week, more students are involved, or are interested, are doing programming than, all these other social media websites.
I think that the thing that I like most about Code, and why I think things like Code.org and organizations like them are so interesting, is I think that they teach people to be creators as well as consumers. I think that we have a lot of people that are just spending their time consuming.
Yeah.
Now you said that as we talked a little bit before we started recording, that you wanted to find different ways to express yourself creatively. So your job, like your work and what pays the rent today, is modeling.
Yes.
But that is a sense of expression, of theater, of creation. Yeah, definitely.
I think I got involved with it because of my interest in acting. After college, I started doing acting. I thought I would do that, and somehow I ended up getting a contract with Calvin Klein, and that really set off my career with modeling. During that year, I worked for, Prada, Gucci. All of a sudden, these jobs were coming in, and Victoria's Secret. I also did Victoria's Secret show that year. And just the fact that I'm able to put on all these outfits and makeup and have my hair done and become these different characters, it's exciting. That's my favorite part, definitely, about the job.
And when you're traveling around, I assume you're spending months in different cities, and it's like a contract job. You go somewhere and you work for an organization for some number of months, or how does that work?
No, I travel a lot, but each job is, most jobs don't come with a contract.
Okay.
So I do one job here, and then I go to a bunch of castings, and maybe through those meetings, through those auditions with people, I find out I get another job. And so it's all very last minute. Nothing's guaranteed when I go traveling. But luckily it's worked out okay for me.
So does that mean that you'll say, I'm going to go to London for this job, and then I'll stick around for a few months and hope other jobs are found?
Yes.
And then do you write your code when you're kind of just hanging out in the hotel, or how does that explain to me how you balance what is effectively a full-time, albeit pieced together job with your writing apps and putting apps in the App Store? Sure.
I when I start coding, I have trouble stopping for the most part. But I'll start before casting, go to meet with clients, and then come back and pick up where I left off. And the same for jobs. I'll start coding in the morning, do my job, come home, probably stay up way, way, way too late, and do the same thing the next day. Sometimes I bring my computer science issues into work, I'm sure, where I'm on the phone with Apple during my hair and makeup.
Seriously? Have you ever,
yeah.
that is really important. Have you been in the chair getting your hair and makeup done with the laptop in your lap and you're writing code?
It's happened before. I'm not proud of that moment.
I have to say that I am proud of that moment, and I was not anywhere near that moment. That is awesome.
I'll try not to do that so often. But there was just an issue with the Apple server, and I needed to push an update through.
I'm just saying, though, that like the thing that I find so interesting about it is that my initial reaction when I heard about this and what you were doing was that these are two incompatible things. But now as we talk, the more and more I hear about it, this is all just a form of creation and expression, and they are very compatible things.
That's true. And with my last app that I released, it was specifically for models and artists. I made this portfolio app. As a model, we carry around our books with our pictures in them, and they're heavy, and the books fall apart, and the pages get dirty, and sometimes you forget to have your comp card in back, which is like a business card for models. So I created an app called iPort. It's available on the Apple App Store for iPads.